We have seen on the recent days on the stock market that you can lose a hell of money. Now, this is not our today's topic, because today we will talk about how you can benefit as an investor of the current crash, how people in the past have did it, and what is to see compared to 2008, 2000 years with the dot-com bubble. So there's a lot of factors that we have to encounter, because we have done there, we have been there, we have done some crashes in the past, and how we can solve this to our benefit. All about it here in this vlog.
Wolf of Dubai.
Okay, so first thing I want to go inside is the S&P 500. This is one of the most important indexes in the US, and we will look into the 2000 dot-com crash, how long it took and when it recovered and how it recovered. So let's have a look. About 29 February 2000, we had a peak of 1,420 in the S&P 500. Now then the start of the enroll of the super high tech bubble bursted, and we have seen new lows with about 963. So you can see we lost about a third. And if we are looking towards how long this surge took, it was 32%, about a year exactly on 2000 to 2003. So 3 years it took from last high until the bottom. And obviously nobody knew where's the bottom. However, if we are looking then from the bottom in 2003, it took us until about August, September, as we know, started the crisis, October, September. Then you can see that it took us 4 years to go to another 50% plus. And then from there, we actually needed about 2 years to reach the bottoms. And then from there, we had a bull run that is until now unprecedented. And now what we're seeing is currently a crash just the last 3 months of about 28%. And do you remember it took the tech bubble to bring the S&P down 30% in 3 years? So you can see that this is much rapidly going downwards than anything that we have seen before. Even the financial crisis in 2008 and other crises didn't had such a rapid downturns like this crisis. And this is because of two things, in my personal opinion. It's first, we had really high all-time highs with a huge bull run for 11 years where we didn't know what to do with all the cheap money. Companies that are asking now for bailout are currently asking for, like Boeing, $60 billion to be afloat and to keep the business running. This is unprecedented. You know, most of these companies, like for example the cruise lines, they use a lot of cash that actually they put into stock buybacks that push their stock even higher, and now they're in trouble and asking for a bailout. Now I'm leaving it to you if you think this is fair, but this is something that the US taxpayer is actually giving as a gift to those companies. And not only that, but these companies are needing this money now to have all the employees running, the business, the operation running, obviously. So, you know, it's a very hard decision for the government, but I think it's the most clever solution to not let companies collapse or mass collapse even. Now, this is something, a brand new situation, because during the financial crisis and during the terror attacks, for example, we had still demand. Not that much, obviously, it went back, but we had the supply. So the restaurants were open, everything was running smoothly, everything downturned. But now we have both sides. We have the demand, nobody going outside anymore. And then the production, the supply is also like zero almost, because everybody is not going to work. So we are in an economy right now which basically totally stopped. I actually came across the other day about small research that showed that 2 weeks of shutdown for a government is about 2% downturn for the GDP. And this is really scary because in the end of the day, this is the real recession. The recession is currently defined when 2 of the following quarters are negative GDP, and this is most probably what we will experience, and that's why we will be officially in the recession. Now, this is all what you need to know for now. Now let's dive into how you can become rich. Okay, so first of all, you have to understand what is going on. Currently, it's a mix of panic and obviously downturn of economy. But still, companies like Amazon or Apple will definitely enjoy the party after this crisis, because in the end of the day, people will buy laptops, they will order online, maybe in the future they will even order more online. So even companies like Amazon can come out stronger. They just announced that they will hire 1,000 people and give some of the employees raises because they are working during this crisis. And I believe that companies like Apple that have a huge balance sheet, a huge pile of cash, will now can either do acquisitions really cheap, they can really stand out with good sales numbers, they can really stand out and are currently super cheap. And if you are looking into companies like Apple and Amazon, you know that these companies will be around the next 10 or 20 years. Now think about it. If you are having a time machine and going 20 years from now in the future, or 15 years or 10 years, you will look back and say, wow, this was temporary. We don't know how long, maybe until the summer, maybe even until next summer. But in the end, after a couple of years, everything will go to normal. And as we have seen, even the biggest financial crisis took just 2 years from last high until low, and then going back into bull market territory. And not only that, you have seen how strong we had, the biggest bull market ever. And therefore, the only appel in this video, if you're taking one thing from this video, now and over the next couple of months are hugely discounted stocks on the market. And if you are thinking 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and invest money that you don't need, I think you will thank me in 1 year or 2 years. I will accept some donations, obviously. No, but jokes aside, obviously, this is something very hard to do. I totally agree. And that's why it's just a few people that benefit from this crisis. If you look back, 2008, 2009, 2007, people were scared. People were not investing into houses, but people that saw all of this, that saw that this is temporary, bought all the houses, bought all the stocks that were on discount, and after a couple of years made billions. Billions and millions, depending on their investment size. Obviously, these are huge opportunities. And I'm actually, you know, when I'm talking with fellow investors, I'm just saying I'm so happy that this is happening, financially speaking only, obviously, and not speaking about the health side. I'm so happy that this is happening, that we can experience such a downturn and have another chance to buy in cheap. This is something unprecedented, and you should take advantage of that, obviously, because this is something that's happening every 10 years, every 20 years. And, you know, people were very, very sad that they couldn't benefit from the current bull run over the last 11 years. And obviously they couldn't, and now they can. So this is your chance. So think about the best investors that are out there. For example, Warren Buffett. They're basically maybe the best investor out there ever and the best stock picker ever. Now he is actually buying when this crisis are happening, and he made a lot of money. Why do you think he's stocking up hundreds of billions of dollars? Because he's waiting and he's knowing that if the markets are overvalued like this and then something happens, then the market can crash, and then he's buying on the cheap, and then he waits another 100 years and then he actually can make a lot of money. He did it many times, and you know, everything said, he became one of the richest person in the world. So therefore, let's go into the summary of what you should take out of this video. There's 3 things that I would like you to take out of this video to become rich during this recession. or the upcoming recession. So first of all, don't panic. Don't try to time the market. This is a very, very important step. Don't try to sell and buy back and sell and buy back, and because it can go always higher, it can go always lower, and nobody can time the market. And whoever tells you that he can, just run. Second, the second most important thing is start to buy cheap. Whenever is it now or over the next couple of weeks, we shall see a downturn, in my personal opinion, but again, I cannot time the market. I think it's still going down because there's still a couple of things that we don't know what's happening, and therefore I think it should go further down, but that's just an estimation. It can be also bounce back and then go back up. However, we don't know how much is priced in already, and therefore you should start buying slowly. So you should, maybe if your total goal, for example, is $30,000, then over the next, let's say, 12 months, invest every now and then $2,000, and you will have the best price overall. And always, if it goes further down, you actually bringing down your price, and if it's going up, then it's basically you have also the best price, and don't risk to put all your capital at once. Number 3 is it will go up. It will go up. This is an answer that, take it for sure, the market will go up, and we will see higher levels that we have seen now. I have seen just recently 60-year-olds on Twitter that are saying, hey guys, if you're 30 years old, if you're 40 years old, if you are 20 years old, buy stocks in the next couple of weeks or months, because in the end, as a 60-year-old, you will see and look back that this was one of the best times ever on the stock market. And with 60, believe me, look at Grant Cardone. He looks with 60 younger than most 20 or 30 years old. So with 60, the life is not over, and if you have then a couple of millions and can enjoy them anywhere in the world for the next 20 or 30 years afterwards even, then what's so bad about that? So enjoy the show and see you tomorrow.